Alright, guys, welcome to Flavo Rihanna's MMA show. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. Alright, guys, so no UFC this Saturday. They're taking a break. Next card is actually going to be on February 4th. It's going to start at a weird time, but they're doing this because of the fact that originally they were going to have the card in South Korea. And since the card is no longer in South Korea, they are going to accommodate the Asian fans of the card being on prime time, right? So the card is going to start at 10 p.m. prelims. Main card will start at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, what's it called? It's just a rare thing, but they're only doing it for this 1 week. I think because of the fact they have the road to the UFC, the finals happening, that's been going on. But what's it called? I want to talk about about Jamahal Hill. I know we're still trying to recover from UFC 283. All right, Jamahal Hill ended up winning the title. There's actually a lot to talk about, just because there's been a big discussion on who is he gonna fight next. I know there's questions as for was he deserving of getting the title shot. Honestly, it was just a timing thing, and nobody expected for the fight between Blachowicz versus Ankalaev to end as a draw. Many of us thought that Ankalaev did more than enough to win, but I mean, like I've always have said it on this channel, you can never leave the fight towards the judges. So that opened the opportunity for Glover versus Jamahal Hill, and Jamahal Hill honestly had put one of the better performances that I've ever seen, not only in his career, but in a championship fight. The man blanked Glover Teixeira all 5 rounds. It was no discussion whatsoever on who won that fight. It was a matter of fact of how you were going to end up scoring the fight. Now, I scored the fight as a 50-43. All right. I know some people have scored it as a 50-42. All right. I know the judges ended up giving it 50-44 if I'm not mistaken. If you gave it 50-44, if you gave it 50-43, I am not going to argue with you whatsoever. As long as you're not giving it as a 50-45, because there was a couple 10-8 rounds there, and you can argue whether or not the second round or the third round, 100% the fourth round was a 10-8 round, right? But Jamahal Hill got the job done, becoming the very first ever Dana White Contender Series winner to win a title. All right. Now, he's not the first person to ever receive a title shot, because that is one Alex Perez from the flyweight division. He ended up getting a title shot in 2020, losing, I believe, was in like a minute and a half, a minute 45 seconds to Davis Figueiredo. Tyler Santos, people can argue that they will say that she should have won her title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. It was a very close fight, but I still give it to Valentina. I mean, you could call me biased or whatever you want to say, but I felt that Valentina did just enough for her to get the benefit of the nod, for the decision to go into her favor. All right, but Jamahal Hill wins the title. Now there is some talk that he is pretty much becoming DC. And what I mean by that, when John Jones got arrested and the UFC stripped him of his title, Daniel Cormier ended up winning the UFC championship. He defeated Anthony Rumble Johnson. He defeated, a plethora of light heavyweights, and he always had that label, right? Especially the fact that he was never able to beat John Jones on 2 occasions. All right, it didn't help out his cause, and right now Jamahal Hill is facing those type of backlash from people saying that he is not the true champion. Now nobody would be saying these type of things if the UFC never relinquished the title from Yuri Prochazka. If they would have made it an interim title, nobody would be having these discussions, and then we'll be having this discussion as who's going to win between Jamahal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka as they try to unify the belts. Okay, there are talks as of Yuri Prochazka coming back as early as the summertime. Now, Dana White did say that it was one of the more gruesome shoulder injuries he's ever seen. Now, I don't know how much weight I can put on that, just because of the fact that Dana White just talks so much, and a lot of the stuff that he says isn't really accurate. Okay? So, in other words, I do believe that this injury, was gruesome enough, but I don't think to take away the title. So, we're going to play a little bit of matchmaker right now. As for who should be, who should Teixeira, who should Jamahal Hill have in his next title shot? Now, my opinion, all right, I think the best matchup to make is, sorry, I'm trying to fix things around here. I personally do believe that it should be Yuri Prochazka. The man lost his title, okay? Well, had to relinquish it, all right? But I still believe that he had no other options, okay? The man had to give up his title, and I think that's the obvious matchup to make. But I do believe Jamahal Hill will try to fight a little bit sooner. I mean, you could say Anthony Smith. I mean, he weighed in as a backup, but he also weighed in a little bit heavier than championship weight. You can say Jan Blachowicz, who was a previous, He was a previous, title holder. He did win the belt. Unfortunately, he lost it to Glover Teixeira. Yes, he never really, He never really, defended the belt against a true light heavyweight. He defeated Israel Adesanya in his only title defense. Lost to Glover Teixeira when they faced each other in Abu Dhabi. All right, yes, I understand that part. Okay, but Alex Rakic, I just think that that's not going to happen. Reason being, last time we saw him, he lost to Jan Blachowicz. Yes, injury was involved in that matchup as well too. But I think that he needs a ways to go. I have a feeling that it's going to be Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. And I don't think Magomed Ankalaev is going to get a title shot anytime soon. I don't think the UFC is too happy with him. I think after his comments saying that he doesn't want to fight for the UFC if he doesn't get another title shot, I just clearly think that the only other option right now is one Yuri Prochazka. All right. I have a feeling that the UFC is going to go in the direction of having Anthony Smith versus Jan Blachowicz. Winner of that gets a title shot. But I could be wrong. I mean, the UFC is not a meritocracy. This is not Bellator or anything like that. I truly do believe that the UFC will go into the favor of Yuri Prochazka. All right, it's the fight to make. It's the only fight to make. But the only other thing that I can think of as a sleeper is if Alex Pereira says, you know what, screw it. Israel Adesanya, you haven't made a decision. Robert Whittaker, you're taking too long. I'm gonna just move up to light heavyweight and try to get 2 belts. And if that happens, guys, that is gonna be phenomenal. To see Alex Pereira, the protege of Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira, in the corner of Alex Pereira as he's trying to face the guy that he just lost to in Jamahal Hill. Man, I want to see that fight right there. I believe that's a dark horse of a pick. I just don't know if they will be willing to make that matchup. I think there's a lot of money to make in a trilogy. Well, not trilogy, tetralogy, right? Or in the UFC rematch between Adesanya and Pereira. I think Whittaker would exploit a lot of bad matchups for Alex Pereira, all right? Especially with the wrestling that Whittaker could utilize, all right? And there's a risk, in that aspect. But I just think that Jamahal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka is the fight to make. But I wouldn't mind seeing Alex Pereira move up to 205. I mean, the man is huge. And I just think that he probably has maybe a good 3 to 4 matches left in him to make 185 before he's required to move up to 205. As for Dana White Contender Series match, winners, who will be the next one? Well, I'm actually going to look that up for you guys right now. I do have a graphic over here And I gotta say, guys, where is it? They say Sean O'Malley, Tyler Santos, Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez isn't getting a title shot anytime soon, especially with that loss. I mean, she screwed herself over accepting that fight, and I think that she's not getting a fight anytime soon. Alex Perez, no. Jeff Neal, no. Johnny Walker, it's possible. I think Johnny Walker has a chance of actually winning a title. Giga Chikadze, it depends if actually Alexander Volkanovski does leave the division. All right. Jalen Turner, man, but by the time Jalen Turner gets to a title shot, he might have to move up to 170 because that is a big 155er. Ricky Simone and Ryan Spann. Well, Ricky Simone, I don't know. It's possible. It's possible, Ricky Simone. But Ryan Spann, I mean, that guy, what's it called? He ended up showing that the way that he ended up going about knocking out Dominic Reyes, it's possible that Ryan Spann could get there. But I think the more likelihood would be Sean O'Malley as of right now. Although I just don't think Sean O'Malley, he has to get the right matchups to win the title. I think fighting Aljamain Sterling would be a nightmare of a matchup. Giga Chikadze would be up there as long as he can avoid fighting, your Alexander Volkanovskis if he does leave the division. If he could somehow avoid fighting Max, because Calvin Kattar, I mean, he exploited, a big weakness of Giga Chikadze, eliminating the kicks by pressuring him. But Giga's up there. Who else? And Johnny Walker. Yeah, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker, look, if Johnny Walker acts like crazy Johnny Walker, right? Fun Johnny Walker, like what he ended up doing against Paul Craig, then I think it is more than likely that you could see him fighting for a title and even winning a title. But I got it right here. Sean O'Malley, Johnny Walker, number 2, Giga Chikadze, number 3, and last but not least, I got what's his name? Walker. Oh, I'm sorry, O'Malley, Walker, Chikadze. I would say Spann. I don't think Tyler Santos is going to be able to win it just because I think she's going to lose to Erin Blanchfield. But yeah, guys, that's the order that I have it for the people that are more than likely to win a title from a Dana White Contender Series winner. All right, guys, but thank you for tuning in. I am Flav Oriana, and I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, guys, please hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Really helps out the channel, and just view this video that I have posted over here, and then this video that I have posted over here. Until then, guys, I will see you guys at a later date. Peace, guys, and have a good one. See ya.